afternoon, everyone. Today we are joined by the writer, director, and producer of the film, मैं Actor Nahi Hoon. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for doing this. And congratulations as मैं Actor Nahi Hoon is running in theaters. I would love to start with one of my personal experiences. So it's been 2 months where one of my friends shared your reel where there was this casting call. You asked, it was Gupshup with a Stranger. I very much remember making that. And sir, while watching that, I came across a lot of layered performance because it wasn't thought of. In the description, it was mentioned that you just have to recreate that. Don't give it a thought, nothing. Thank you so much, sir. And for artists, for filmmakers, writers also, you provide a very good platform that is your Instagram. And if people are lost in the world, there is this space, your Instagram, where they can come and straight away apply for casting and crew calls. I very much remember sending my CV for this My Actor Nahi Hoon ka. You wanted Haiti as well. So I guess this is the other journey where I get to know more about film. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am, for creating My Actor Nahi Hoon.
Thank you.
I would love to start. Was there a moment in your life when you realized that you just don't want to love cinema? You have to make it.
I don't think any of these moments are very clear like that for any of us. Yeah, I don't think there was any one moment. Honesty. Now, just a couple of days ago, I realized that this film has a lot of connections with Rangila, and I'd seen Rangila when I was 12 or 13 years old at Getty Galaxy.
Yeah.
So now I've started to realize that I think the moment when I started to feel for cinema more than just a viewer was Rangila as a film, and it's about the film industry as a film. It's also about an actor. Only difference is that she has her parents living with her. She's from Bombay, and she has a brother, and she has a friend named Munna, who then at some point becomes more than a friend. But the character and our friend is not from Bombay.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any of her own living here, which is like most people. And she is here for the art and the craft, and the craft of it. Whereas Millie was here for the glamour and the fame. So that's why when she gets a chance to act, she actually can't act.
Yeah.
Whereas for this character, all she wants to do is to be able to act, and she's fighting hard to be able to find that space. And none of this was conscious. I just ended up seeing Rangila 27 times in a theatre.
Yeah.
At Getty, it was at Getty Galaxy. Then DDIJ came the second week, and then Rangila went from Getty to Galaxy, and then it kept shuffling. That happened for a long time. Whoever was around watching films that time. So I think watching Rangila was the time when I started to feel for cinema more than just go and be entertained.
Oh, nice. What did storytelling mean to you before films entered your life?
I don't know how to say that. I don't want to just say something intellectual.
You're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Shweta ma'am, how long did it take you to arrange funds for the film? And did you had this mic on thing then? But I guess that will capture.
Okay.
So how long did it take you to arrange the funds for the film? And did you had this distribution strategy already in mind before commencing the shoot?
Oh no, it started off as a passion project. We met, as he said in the past, how we met Nawaz was just coincidental. Once that happened, the meeting went so well. In the first meeting, we spent 5 hours just chatting with him and just generally chatting. It was not pitching the project. It was just meeting face to face and just having a conversation about life, about cinema, about our ideologies. And 45 days later, he had the schedule, the time that we needed, and we were actually shooting in 2 countries 45 days later. So you can imagine the time that was there. But at that point, it was just getting into and making the film and the challenging task of actually making his decision to shoot it live. So we were just figuring all that.
Yeah.
So the distribution strategy and all that comes much later. It was about making a good film and getting it all right. That's what we spent that initial time in.
I think we are in theatres now, and I don't think we have a very strong distribution strategy even now. Just get the film out, and the people will slowly start coming.
But word of mouth, it's spreading like everywhere.
Yeah, as of now.
Yeah. For aspiring filmmakers, what advice would you give on actually making a film and cracking the release?
I think that filmmaking is a fool's game. It is. So there's no way to strategize it. I think we grow up with our parents and society around us in general. Let's say society more than parents. You grow up in this environment where you feel this need to have a bank balance. You feel this need to secure yourself financially. It's a catch-22. You can't keep telling people to follow their passion only so that someday they'll end up with a health crisis and don't know what to do with it. But unfortunately, artists like very difficult to walk on it without seeing things like that. And so I would just say, make the film you want to make, say what you really want to say, and then figure it out one day at a time. It's very, very difficult to have. I don't know, like I know so many people from college who used to say, first I'll do a job to secure myself, and then someday once I have enough money, I don't know, I've not seen, we've left college, I'm 45 now, so we left college when you were 21. 24 years, I've not seen anyone coming here later.
Yeah.
So,
And just to add, I think it's also, there's no formula. Because the minute you try to follow a formula, I mean, there is no fixed formula. It's like parenting.
Yeah.
There is no formula. You do your best, you bring up your child the best way you can, and then the child goes into the world, and that is the child's future. So even filmmaking, when you enter with passion and your full honesty, but there is no textbook, and there can't be a formula, because we've seen that. Otherwise, everyone would crack a formula.
Yeah.
So I think that is what, if that is the mindset, and you enter with that, then hopefully then it will be your passion and your gut feeling which you go with, which might then go somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, so I just add a little to this, that when she spoke about this parenting, and we are partners and we actually run this company together. Even with parenting, just like that with creativity, the importance is not to focus on the release strategy, not to focus on the market as much, but how purely you can tell the story. Just like parents think, okay, how do we protect the child from the harshness of the world to a certain extent? How do we hopefully set some value system in place, hopefully set some priority scale in place, and that's it, and this keep goes out. So it's the same with making a film. Your focus constantly is, are we getting to the root of the deepest possible place that we can in the story, because you've taken up a certain subject, and that could be any subject.
One thing at a time, basically.
Yeah.
So, sir, in the film, Adnan's character is a retired banker, and ma'am, you yourself are a banker. So, were there any instances, character traits, or anything you took it from her life and put in the film?
Right. Yeah, he's the nicer guy. The artist is the asshole.
Sorry.
I'm just being absolutely honest.
Yeah.
Can I use the word asshole?
Yeah. Ma'am, what made you believe the story was worth investing in?
She got married to her director. What?
That was the biggest motivation.
Yeah, that also, and I'm always the first audience for his stories. So when they are at the idea stage, or when they move into story, then screenplay, and I think at that moment itself, if you feel for it or you don't.
Yeah.
And luckily, again, as I said, because maybe it's just been like that because he doesn't follow a formula and he does it based on what comes to his mind, and it's got the heart then. So I think when you read it, then you understand whether you want to do it or not. So I think, and that just comes naturally. Again, it's not a planning.
Yeah.
When you read it, do you feel emotional as an audience reading it?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where the
connecting
starts. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you connect with it? Yeah.
So coming to the film, there were a lot of beautiful moments. I would love to share my personal favorite. That was disassociation exercise. So I wanted to know more about that. Was it scripted? Was it like you just gave the thought? Because it didn't look like they were performing. They were just flowing. Was it improvised, sir?
No, of course there was a screenplay because we needed them to say certain things, and so it was a fully written script. But because now every time you say something, it becomes stale, unfortunately. So with every take, I would add some new dialogue.
Okay.
And there was improvisation.
Okay. On the set, it was. Okay. The film itself is a masterclass for actors. Like, I'm a trained actor myself from Whistling Woods, and I came across a lot of acting techniques. So this film talked about Michael Chekhov's technique, that is outside in and inside out. So where in the park sequence where Moni was instructing Adnan to fall first and internalize that. So visually, like, do you deeply believe in this acting philosophies embedded while writing the script?
I think that for all acting, it is to not act. That's what's also called my actor name.
Right.
So I think it's all just about trying to feel that moment as much as you can in that moment. Even now, while sitting with you, I'm aware about everyone sitting and looking at me. I'm aware of the fact that I'm on camera. And then I suddenly get aware that I am aware. I have to stay away from that and just be in this moment. So I think it's pretty much the same. So everything that we've spoken about in terms of exercise in the film is just so that people realize that there are so many tools that actors use to get to feel that moment as much as they can. And it's also like a lot of people have been writing to us saying that we want to take our parents and siblings and friends to see the film because they don't know what our life is like. And this is a film that might make them understand what an actor's life feels like. So I think that's where all of it came from.
Okay.
And I didn't want the film to get too technical. One of the earlier drafts was very technical. We mentioned Chekhov, we mentioned Meisner, we mentioned Adler, a lot of things. But then in successive drafts, I started kicking those things out. And Rangila was a great reference point. Of course, it is a much more commercial film. And so, but Rangila took us into the film industry at that point in 1985. And you had a sense of what frustration a star has, what frustration this young girl has to try to get into it. But they didn't make it technical, and they let it be. Of course, our film is not as much fun as Rangila, definitely, because we weren't aiming for that. But I almost feel like now, in retrospect, it's like Mo Ni and Me Li. Me Li is the lighter sound. Mo Ni is the slightly. It's actually the and so Mo Ni is like a darker version of Me Li. He was there for the acting and
Good. So you talked about Riyaz in the film. What's one non-negotiable an actor should inculcate in their day-to-day life? Because for musicians, it's easy. They can do it in Tanpura, they can do Sargam practice and everything, Alap they can take. But for actors, what do you want to have it in the bank to practice every day?
Since I'm not an acting coach, I should think that half an hour of meditation should help an actor more than anything else. Since if you're saying that being in the moment is the most important thing,
Yes.
I think 30 minutes of meditation every day would be the best thing for acting.
Yeah.
And other than that, of course, I feel feeling things, just being in that moment more and more. And a lot, since now we worked with Nawaz, he puts his phone off. So when he's on another film and we have to get through to him, we can't for a long period of time. So I think in some sense disconnecting from a lot of, that's why a lot of actors and artists are not very functional as in relationships or in family life necessarily. Because there's unfortunately a certain amount of disconnection. I personally don't want that. That's how I live out of Bombay also 6 months a year.
Whoa.
I live in Frankfurt where the film is shot. Because I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of becoming so dysfunctional in terms of relationships that then I'll be a very good artist and then I've really fucked up my personal life. That's a fear. But I think everyone's figuring that out.
Yeah. So you mentioned just being in the moment. So that's Eric Morris technique, just flowing, like not expecting anything, just flow. So you shot conversations across continents in real time. How challenging was it technically and everything? So
first we ended up doing that because we were trying to find a filming technique that was in service of performances. And so when we were at film school, we were always taught to or asked to think about a filming technique or choices with filmmaking to do with the subject. And so since the film was about performance and becoming an actor, we thought that shooting it live and them actually being on a video call throughout the film would help their performances. And it did, because like in a performance, there's a lot of, first of all, I don't know what I'm going to say. Yes, neither do you. You know what you're going to say, but I think there are questions. But I have no idea what I'm going to say. And to have that flavor, you have to change dialogue every time, in every take, and also really do it live. So for example, if there's a scene in which he is in Frankfurt going from Zudbanov to Messe, which is an area in Frankfurt, and she has to go from Jugeshwari to Main because Main the network breaks. Then she has to go back from Main to Jugeshwari for the next take. He has to go back from Messe to Zudbanov in Frankfurt. And this you have to do 22 times. And the scenes are also 17 minutes each.
Yeah.
So that was, I think the challenge was, one was network, of course. So the 80s had to go and check. Anuradha here was the associate. She ran the entire India site while I was in Frankfurt. So Anu here got all her assistant directors who were working with her to go and check the network. So for example, अगर आप एक टैक्सी का राउंड कर रहे हो from one point to the other point, then you got to check where the network won't break, and they have to take exactly that route and then go back and take exactly that route. 17 minutes. Yes. Oh, every scene was not 17 minutes, but they have to keep doing that every time. And then there also the ADs have to check for network. So one thing was network. Second thing was for them to be able to give me a live stream of both cameras. We had 4 cameras, 2 here, 2 there. So the main camera from both places had to give me a live stream of the frame. So I had 2 iPads and I had to sit with those 2 iPads for the entire shoot and see the film in my head and in as much as I could. That was the technical challenge.
2 iPads, 2 headphones. Because he was listening to the dialogue also from there, from here. And then we were dealing with extreme weather. Because Frankfurt at that point
I forgot about that.
It was in the range of 2 to 8 degrees. And here in Bombay, it was 35 above. So we were dealing with extreme weather. and time difference. So there we were starting at 7 a.m. because it's about 4 hours difference. So that's already about 11 o'clock here. And since it's a film across a day, that time was changing through. So we started off with there at 7 a.m. while here it was about 11. Then as the day moves there, it became afternoon, here it became night.
Yeah.
Because the film is actually one day, so it had to cover those time differences. So yeah, technically it was very crazy dealing with all this. But the outcome
we had a day when the cameras got shut here. They went off because of the heat. And then Nawaz couldn't understand why we taking so long, because he was in 2 degrees with wind factor at the riverside. इतना time क्या लगा? So वहाँ camera बंद हो गई. ऐसा है.
They had to take the cameras to an AC room to cool it off for 2-3 hours, and only then we could start.
Outdoor somewhere to get the AC.
Yeah.
When was it shot, sir? The film?
2023 March.
Yeah.
So, sir, you mentioned that this train sequence, it took 22 takes. तो सर आपने सोचा नहीं कि ये इतना चैलेंजिंग हो रहा है, एंड वी जस्ट हैव 33 days टू शूट द एंटायर फिल्म, तो इसके बदले कुछ और आइडिया ला सकते, कुछ और स्ट्रगल दिखा सकते कि व्हाई यू वांटेड टू स्टिक टू दिस ट्रेन सीक्वेंस? इट वाज ब्यूटीफुल बाय द वे, बट जस्ट आउट ऑफ क्यूरियोसिटी आई एम आस्किंग,
बिकॉज आर्टिस्ट बहुत लॉजिकल नहीं होते यार, अनफॉर्चुनेटली। मैं क्या जवाब दूंगा ऐसे?
सर 33 days ही है ना खाली हमारे पास, तो फुल फिल्म।
And yet the thing is you get, because like in theater you can do so many shows of the same play, so you can fuck up once in a while, it's okay, no stress. But with film, like if the sound of my film is not good from 10 years ago, I still get insulted on Letterboxd for it.
Oh.
So the only person who's going to catch that thing like a dog and not let it go is the filmmaker. Because तो गाली जो पड़ेगी वो 100 साल तक जाएगी। That's it. क्या करें? अभी online it's become even more dangerous. So yeah, at that point you're like, let's just get it right, no matter what.
Yeah. I noticed in the film that when Moni and Adnan, they were in the conversation, so when she was getting irritated and she was continuously hanging up the call, the camera stayed with her. So sir, as a viewer, I expected कि एक दो जगह अदनान के reactions हो सकते थे कि मैं तो innocently चाहता हूँ ना सीखना, तो क्यों irritate हो रही है वो? So what was the idea behind that? The camera stayed with Moni.
No, all it kept staying with.
But mostly sir, the terrace वाले sequence में everything it stayed with Moni. Equal.
Okay. Equal. Very often, like he says, "Hey, ये तो बंद हो गया." So you're with him.
Okay.
So there are
moments.
There's also what happens is, because we come in with our own past and you're also a sponge. You're also a human being who's coming in with his own past, his own childhood, his own. So you start to get preferences over time between one of the two characters. And I've seen this very often in this film. Someone who's coming in from the corporate side starts to think that we are spending more time with Adnan.
Yes.
Whereas someone who's coming from the art side starts to think that we are spending more time with Moni. But it's also where you're coming from. And yeah.
Ma'am, what skills are essential for surviving as a producer today?
Wow.
That's it.
Again, I don't think there's a textbook, but personally, if you ask me, I would say it might sound repetitive, but I think it's very important, and that has been my journey, is focus on the content and what connects to you. Because if you try to focus on something that has been successful and try to bet on that, I mean, there's no novelty in that.
Yeah.
So we've seen whether he talks about Rangila, or we talk about Satya, or we talk about any of these films which have Masan, we talk about Lunchbox, like all of them, which Queen. So whichever ones we feel have really gone out of what was the initial expectation is because there was something different.
Yeah.
If it was the same formula and we copy pasted something, then it won't be different. So which is why I think it's important to first see what you feel. Like, do you connect with it and do you feel, and then go into the other parts, and don't try to just follow a success formula.
If you would have start your producing journey in 2026 again, what different?
I want to add something there. Sorry. I think it helps that we both co-produce. Because it's like our own money goes into the film. So it's never been this is our 6th feature film. It's never been that we've gone one day over schedule. Never, not even once. And it's also that, so if your director is also co-producer, uska bhi paisa ja raha hai. So it becomes a little easier because you feel a lot more responsible towards. In fact, there are times when she has to say, hey, I think we can spend a little more money on this because I am feeling like we should hold it back. And that's all. But if the director is this creative artist genius and the producer is spending the money, then that's, I think it's very complicated because filmmakers tend to not hold the reins of the horse. Then that's not fair to the producer and the money being spent. Yeah.
So, sir, for the film, did you follow a proper shot breakdown, or it was like more of a coverage? You had room for extra takes and everything.
We have a full shot breakdown. We do a shot division and multiple times. We did it a couple of takes of the shot division, 3 takes on a say. Okay, so 3 rounds of shot division already. And after that, we still improvise on set.
Okay.
So it's like you be as prepared as you can, and then you also improvise.
Okay. Ma'am, like the earlier question, like if you would have started your producing journey again in 2026, what differently you would have done?
Which gate?
I don't think anything different.
Okay.
Because as he said, if you see the filmography and I mean, we've produced our own films.
Yes.
So it's not that it's been outside projects, and all of them have had at that point had a reason, or had something that he had something to say, and so we made it.
Yeah.
So I don't think we would choose differently in the filmography.
What's one lesson this film taught you that you'll carry it out in your next film? Both of you.
That we should do more theatre. And that's it.
No, yeah. So that is his thing. But also, I think from specifically on the film point, initially when he brought up this idea that he wants to shoot live, I think all of us were like, that's crazy. You're shooting live across 2 continents. So what I said, time difference, weather difference, network, it's a live video call. So how are we going to do this? So I think the film at the end taught us that sometimes these crazy ideas that come in, if you're able to execute them, then the outcome is beautiful. So don't shy away from these challenges, but see how we can make it work. Because many times just by reading it on paper, you will step back. But if you can make it work, try to make it work, because then you can see the outcome.
How do you identify stories that can connect with both critics and audiences?
We clearly don't. I will not be able to crack all these things out.
No, but like you used to say earlier, right, that you at least
engagement is important for me. That's all. It's because I grew up watching Bollywood films. I don't think I write in a manner that is, at least I think I don't write in a manner that's indulgent, but that's always subjective.
So you have worked in cinema, in advertising before cinema. What did it?
Actually, FTI, and then I was a screenwriter for many years, and then advertising.
Okay. So what did it help you, and how did it take away creatively in you, advertising? What did it teach in?
What it helped me was to be able to say things in less time. That copy, the writing, like to see writing like copy. Every word, everything has a lot to. So if you're writing the tagline for your own film, or if you're writing the name of your own film, all your advertising brain is constantly working to do that. When you're now marketing the film, how to put your film out, what exactly people are perceiving your film as, and to keep changing as you're seeing new information. So the advertising brain is working in those things. What is it taken away? I don't know yet. Okay. I might know in the future. Also, I did it for some years, and then I've been out of it, and then never gone back there. So I don't know. It would have taken away a lot, but I'm not aware of it yet.
Okay. So FTI happened, and then you worked with scripting.
I worked as a writer for
advertising. Okay. So how do you direct actors emotionally? Do you believe in heavy rehearsals, or you give them liberty, freedom to improvise or spontaneity?
Never done a rehearsal, but we've done workshops.
Okay. Yeah. Workshops of 3 days, 5 days.
Yeah, 45 days. Workshops are just for example, if in like a film like Tota Pataka Item Mal, which is on Netflix, they have 4 women who meet as strangers, but they have to fight this one man together. It's like this thing, also in some sense fighting patriarchy. So we did a workshop because those 4 women had never met each other. Okay. So we did a workshop for them to get to know each other better, and then so things like that. But otherwise, like Tikli and Lakshman was a film where sex workers have been working together and they form a cooperative. But they've known each other for very, very long. So then we did a workshop so that the people get to know each other. Or in my Actor Nahi Hoon, there's a first scene where Naveen Kasturi and the people are chatting, right? Yasir Saab and Ayushi and And so we got them to come home to the office. We served a lot of alcohol and we played Uno for 4 hours. Okay. They didn't know each other before that. And by the end, a lot of alcohol, everyone had a couple of drinks, and not like they were falling on the ground. But it's just that they had eased out. By the end of the night, after playing Uno and chatting we played 4 names. It just felt like they've known each other for a long time. And they also good access, so they knew that they kind of understood the point of this night as to develop a base level of friendship,
Mm.
and that was there. The next day between them there was a lot of warmth, and so no
Icebreaker.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. You studied at Film and Television Institute of India. How did FTII help you, and what do you think how did it help filmmakers in general?
You start to think of film as purely as or in as pure terms as a painter looks at painting. And that's very difficult in Bombay because you're constantly thinking about the commerce of it and exactly you said the strategy of it. Whereas in film school, you are especially in FTI because it's subsidized. I think my entire fee that time, my parents must have been about 75,000. So you can just imagine. And then there was some 5,000-6,000 people who applied for 8 seats.
Mm.
So I think that environment makes you look at it in a very personal, in a very artistic form. Whereas when you come to Bombay, there's the pressure of commerce in every thought. And so their film school really helps, especially government subsidized film school, because you don't have that pressure of commerce and yet you're not. So there's a ghetto that has good and bad things. But the good things are that you are there for some years in that ghetto, and food is not expensive, life is not that expensive. It's a protected environment where you can really fully immerse yourself into that art form and feeling for it.
Well,
I think that
even make mistakes there as well.
lots of mistakes.
Yeah, yes.
The more mistakes actually you make, I think those filmmakers who make great films at FTI, short films, many of them didn't end up becoming filmmakers outside. But a lot of filmmakers who made very experimental short films there, which were seemingly at that time making a lot of mistakes, have become really good filmmakers outside.
So there's this debate in the industry that whether one should join film schools or not. What's your take in this, Silver? It's very subjective, but
I totally recommend film school because I think that it's in anything training is a good thing. You can always throw it out of your mind after you've learned it and it's assimilated it fully. But I think I think our cinema here is where it's at because no one takes it seriously as the same for that's what I feel. I think that because the reason you should go to film school is because for some period of time, at least in your life, you should be able to just make a relationship with the art form and not bother about everything else, including your survival, your life, your bank balance, oh my god, I've become this old and I still have to deal with all that. On my 40th birthday, I started crying and said I'm a failure. So I go through this like everyone else. We all have this in our own life. I'm sure you go through your own things, right? I just happen to be talking about it in an interview. But some space to just develop a relationship of love with that art form, aside from the pressure of your own life and society and everything. That I think film school gives you, and that's why which film school? Because just film school doesn't make any sense. If I came to a film school where I'm paying 1 crore, I already have the pressure of recovering that in my mind. Yes. Right? That's the problem.
Ma'am, how important do you think film festivals play a major role in distribution for the film?
I think festivals have been a good way so because before you bring it to your own audience, which of course is the final aim, it's also to see how it resonates because again it depends on the kind of films. But if you made some film which you think is relatable to human beings anywhere and it's not specific to a particular any particular country or anything, because even if you make something which is very deeply cultured here, if it has a human story or a human connect, it will connect to people everywhere. So I think that is something nice that we've experienced in our festival rounds, that people, whatever the story is, whichever of the past ones, which may be either subjects which are like Not Today, for example, a suicide prevention story, it is relatable. It's relatable across the world, or even like Siddiqui and Lakshmi Bomb, which was totally like based here, but people could relate to it. So I think that has been a beautiful experience, and which is why festivals play a great part in that, because you get to see the reactions of audiences who are completely different from your culture, but they still come out. Like with this film, people came out crying in New York and in California, and these are non-Indians.
And they're not actors.
Non-Indians, not actors, but came out crying, feeling for it because they connected at a human level. So that has been a great experience with festival, and which is why it's helpful to just get to see how far your film and your subject reaches.
But also from a network point of view, like our film Not Today has been playing in Spain for 4 years now on their platform. It's called Filmin. It's like a cross between Netflix and Mobi in Spain. It's also playing on Canopy in the US. Canopy is a service that goes to colleges all across the US and universities. So these things also happen at festivals because you meet people from there. They are seeing your film and they're seeing that, oh, okay, people in Spain at a festival in Barcelona are also feeling so strongly for this film. So these things also happen outside.
What are the 3 things a producer should take in mind before commencing a shoot?
Never get involved with your director.
I think pretty much, again, our thing will be it's because we work together. So it's not only we are both co-producers, so which is why. But the way our formula has happened is that there's a bound script. It's not that you're going in completely experimental. That has been our way. So I'm talking about our journey. So there's a bound script. There is proper short division done. And then you're open to improvisation, like he said. So those kind of things. So I think that definitely helps to, from a producer's point of view, reduce the surprises. Because imagine this film, if he wanted to do like he's done it live, and if we were not prepared, I can't even imagine the mess. So to be prepared, you have to know what you're going to do. There has to be a proper schedule that you're following. There has to be a proper budget that you're following, and then try to stick to it, because it cannot become that you overrun in terms of days, because then your budget goes crazy. You can't go that you overrun in terms of budget. So all of that, whether it is budget planning, whether it is schedule planning, whether it is your short division, your script, all of that has to be in order before you get it.
Did we overrun on budget? No, we didn't.
So sir, जैसे starting से tune हो गए थे आप लोग कि 1-2 दिन लगा थोड़ा 33 days में? What was the process, because it was live? So what was the?
वो आज क्यों नहीं?
नहीं, the film मैं actor नहीं हूँ.
आता तो ये तो ट्यून before ही गए. घर पे ट्यूनिंग करके आते हैं. नवाज साहब and I, you're talking about Nawaz साहब?
Yes, yes.
Also, ये तो बड़ा पसंद क्वेश्चन. Nawaz साहब, and I think so. The thing is because he's been a star as such like that for where we come to definitely is a star, because we've not made films with anyone. So we don't really get. We had a lot of conversations before we started the shoot, but we didn't know what the other person is going to do professionally at all till we reached the shoot. And we also shot the film chronologically.
Yeah. Okay.
So he met Chitra also on that video call. The first time he met her was on that audition, that Zoom audition that happens. He didn't know at all. He knew that this is the actor that's going to work with him, but he had not met her. I didn't want him to talk before this. And so even for Nawaz Saab and me, I think we got to know whether the other person is competent in this context only on that day of the shoot.
Yep.
There was no way to know that before. Someone had asked me, had you auditioned? I'm like, audition Nawaz? That I would have seen Faizo then. So no.
No, but just to add, like he said before, there was a lot of conversation. So Nawaz Saab did come about a week, 10 days before. To get into the pace of Frankfurt, because India and Frankfurt, Germany, you can imagine the pace different. That pace is very good. So to get into it, and those days which were pre-shoot, there was a lot of conversation just discussing about the character, what would be like a retired banker's life here, walking around those streets, basically getting that familiarity of the place. So those things were done. It's not that one day you landed and next day you started
shooting.
He also did this unique thing which Anuradha reminded of us of the other day. He asked all the cast and crew mostly, to tell him what they felt about Adnan Beg as a character, because they'd all read the script on a video call. He was, I think, in India then.
No,
he was here and he was asking the whole crew in India.
Yeah, he was in Germany.
Exactly. He was in Frankfurt.
Correct.
He was asking the whole crew in India. So then each one told him what they felt emotionally about that character, and he made notes.
Okay.
Then whatever he did with it. But when he came to the set, his soul was 10 on 10 for me as a filmmaker. That louder acting, that soul was, I was very worried about that, because it can just be very stupidly fun.
But so that was very magical. वो seesaw वाला scene, उन्होंने कैमरा नीचे रखा था और वो कर रहे, वो बैठ गए वहाँ पे. So सर ऑडियंस में भी, मेरे फ्रेंड्स भी, और मैं रैंडमली देख रहा हूँ, everyone was enjoying his performance. So वो उनका वो ही लेके आए थे ना वो चीज.
We had asked him to put the phone there, and that seesaw thing he was not very comfortable with when I told him, because the scene is a very serious scene. But the thing is, it was his tone only that added a lot of humor to the film, and I just started having fun with that as a filmmaker. So I started changing lines, adding lines, changing situations to encourage that tone, because I thought See, even in Lunchbox, he brings in the humor.
Yes.
Somehow, no one has explored him in a comedy, proper comedy, like a well-written, like a fish called Wanda kind of situational comedy. No one's used him as an actor for something like that. I started to realize as we started filming that he's really good with comedy, and so I started playing to that as a filmmaker. So these elements started coming in. Later, when he saw it, and to his credit, he didn't argue or say, no, I won't do it, and I'm not. But I could tell that he was just not, you could make out of his face that he's not happy about this, putting him onto a seesaw in a suit and whatever. But he submitted to it, and then when he saw the film for the first time, he was very happy with the decision.
How do you convince investors or studios to back new talent?
I also don't. Absolutely. No, I mean, see, somebody has to take a stand. So, let's say with this film, when we took the film, so Nawaz said he's giving us dates. And he said in 45 days, he has 1 month. 40 days to give us.
Sure.
Then we first started meeting producers to get money. Because now we have 45 days to do the entire prep and get the money. So when we met producers, they said, okay, you have Nawaz. Take X person. I'm not going to name them because they don't even know about this. But take this X person and take 15 crores. Or we went with, let's say we say 5. And then someone says, okay, take 15, take this other actor because you have Nawaz.
Yeah.
They said, no. Chitrangada has auditioned. She actually auditioned for this film when she was the best actor. So we want to go with her. But also in Bombay, see, practically also I can't take a known actor and work in local film in Bombay, and I have to hire the whole local film. Different budget. Becomes 5 times the budget of it. But also she was really, you've seen the film, she was a really good actor and she deserved that.
Yeah.
So we took a stand and said, no, we want to go with this actor. Then we had to leave that producer. Then go to another producer, he said, okay, take this other actor, take 10 crore. Again, we had to say, no, we want to go with this actor. So somebody has to back an actor. And not out of some personal bias towards anyone, because they deserve that film. Because they've auditioned and theirs is the best audition. And so there's always someone. For Nawaz Saab, so when Chitra had come to Frankfurt, Nawaz Saab was telling her that, for me it was Anurag Kashyap that, actually a big star was supposed to do Dance of Asipur 2. I'm not going to say it because I don't think it's known anywhere. And they were about to shoot, and then, Nawaz Saab happened. Like he saw his audition or whatever, and then he backed him, and then they had to change the producers in the film. And so I think always it is somebody that takes a stand for somebody else, because people have taken stands for you as well.
Yeah.
It's a cyclical thing that happens in the world, and that's how Chitra has ended up.
Yeah. So money wasn't a factor in this. You were very much firm with going with Chitrangada.
Yeah, because I just wanted to get that. Again, that gets formed in film school.
Yeah.
You want to make it as purely as you can because you want to do as much justice to your loyalty is towards the story.
Yeah.
And to get it right. Your loyalty is, second loyalty is towards anyone else. First loyalty is there. Of course, you don't want your producer to go bankrupt, you don't want to make any. So then you don't go over budget, you try to be as safe as you can. But there you see the artist overcomes the producer in me. Because if I was a pure producer, I would have gone with the other star, and the film would have been out 2 years ago, and I would have made a lot more money on it. Then you wouldn't have been so difficult for it. Right?
What advice would you give someone who wants to become a producer without any industry connections? Starting afresh. Don't.
No. Without any industry connection.
I don't make them first. That's what they do. Make the connection and then become the producer.
No, but again, unfortunately, all of the questions, my answers are seeming repetitive. But I think it will be to... because if you're trying to get to connections and make it, then you may land up producing something which you may not believe in. So which is why the connections you make have to be with people who you see are actually either they are telling the stories that they want to say, or when you read something you really feel for it, then you get into it. So because it all depends why you're getting into this. If you're getting into this to just become a very successful, famous producer, and so you make those connections and you do that. That is also a path that people can follow. It all depends where you're coming from. Whereas if you're coming from something where you want to get into this because you want to back or be part of projects where you want your name to be part of projects where you really feel for something, then your connections will have to go that way. Where you then find someone who's either properly following their dream and they have a voice, or someone who's written something and you really connect with it, and so you want to back it, and then you become a team and start going. It all depends on that.
Or you also make the film and then start making the connections because people see the film and they see merit in it, maybe. But I do think that you need to have. It sounds very strange to say connection, but you need to know people around to be able to put the film out.
Right.
We didn't know anyone when we started out, and we have paid a very heavy price in terms of money and profits, and we have over time. I do think that it helps too. That's why also you go to film festivals, you go for script funds, you apply, send a script to script labs. NFDC used to have a script lab in Goa. So you do all that so that you meet people from different ways. Yeah, I think it's really helpful.
So coming to the film, initially I was very confused that जब ये मोनी बोल रही थी अदनान को कि मुझे ग्रिल्स दिखाओ, विंडो वाले ग्रिल्स दिखाओ, but in the terrace sequence it got cleared and such beautiful performance. Could you talk about the visual language, the relation between the grills wala orphanage? She was an orphan, right? So can you talk more about that?
When you say visual language, explain a little more.
सर मतलब कि वो कनेक्शन जो था उनके, वो उन्होंने बोला फ्रैंकफर्ट में मुझे वो देखना है. So what was the relation that उसमें जाके क्लियर हुआ टेरेस सीक्वेंस में, that performance?
No, but because you're saying talk about the visual language, are you talking about the visual language of the film, or are you talking about just that part?
That part.
Okay, yeah. It was just, I think I used to, I mean, if I have to really go back into my own life, since you're saying, the visual language is a technical thing and this thing is emotional thing, so I'm going to answer them as much as I can. My mom's here, so I think my mom used to go to work, then I used to stand at the grill in Nani's house, at the grill, and wait for my mom to come back from work. So grills have a very important space in my life as well.
Okay.
But I'm answering this now, and lots of things you do and you write and you're not aware of them. I 100% wasn't thinking all this when I wrote the character. But if you're asking me to think about what the visual of a grill means, then I'm harking back to where in my mind the grill thing comes from. So that's all I can talk about. And I remember the grills of that house very clearly. I'll remember them till the day I die. I can sketch that grill of that house out on a piece of paper now. That house now, someone else lives in it, and I don't even know if the grill is the same grill. It's a different, I have no idea. But that's probably where it came from. And visual language is a slightly separate question, but we were very careful about that Frankfurt should look the way Moni sees it.
Okay.
Like, especially Indians who not travel enough, they see Europe as this perfect place,
Right.
which it's not. It's got its own fuck ups and its own problems. But we see it as this very dreamy. Like when we were in FTI, we saw all these European films. And it was, wow, the trench coat and someone sitting at a cafe and smoking cigarettes all day and drinking wine all day. It was a very different way of seeing it. So we wanted Frankfurt to also look a bit like that. So you don't see any dirt. And it's not like there isn't garbage and all in Europe. It's all there. But we shot it like that. And in Bombay, you see, we shot the roads and the dirt and the mud because Moni set up a Bombay. And so even Adnan's life is almost like you're seeing the film from our perspective, not from his.
What do you protect the most while making a film? The script, the performance, or the feeling? Feeling.
That's fact. And then the script.
What did Nawaz sir bring to the film beyond acting?
His persona and his own nature, and also some things from his own childhood, his own past, which we've added into characters.
What should audiences watch out for next? What's coming next? So,
Theatre, plays out. That's something I'm really excited to do after this for the foreseeable future. Because I just find that live with AI and all these things coming into film, I just find that seeing anything live is just so much more beautiful for me now than. And also the waiting period. Like I love making films, but I have to do so much after making them. Like now 3 years after making this film, I've been hustling on it. I don't even know hustling. I can be a filmmaker. And so I find that I want to explore in theatre a lot of the things that I've been seeking in film, to tell stories and just work with actors and keep it as simple as possible, because film is just very expensive medium. And that starts to create the entire problem with the medium, where you end up doing what you love for very short periods of time, and you do a lot of what you don't love because you're an adult, you have to deal with it and you have to get on with it, and then I do too many years of that. So theatre is what I always.
And you want to add?
No, because I think it's again it's a medium to say a story is just a different medium. But it still has the same thing. You have the writing, you have the screenplay, you have the actors, you have the situation. So it's a different medium to definitely try out. And with films, it's also you may plan something. So it's he does have a lot of scripts, they are written, but what gets made next, you don't know.
Yes.
So if your question is what is coming up next, there's nothing that has started or there's no project that has started. What may come up, you never know, because there are so many stories. So I think it's like that.
Yeah, we are, at least I am for the foreseeable future looking at doing on the theatre. Honestly, it's not a mayusi or anything. It's just it's a calling. Like when I got into film also, it was a calling. I used to be a novelist also. I written 4 novels, and at one point there was a calling to do music. So I composed some songs and went into the Bombay local trains for 2 months, and I've seen my own song every day. So I've generally responded to whatever is coming from inside. And at this point, theatre is something I feel very strongly to explore.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for doing this. It doesn't look like an interview. It felt like late night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, man.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.